Well, it's time now for US News with the Queen of American showbiz, royal and political reporting, Kinsey Schofield. Kinsey, great to have you back on the show. Joe Biden, has he reacted to the carnage playing out in Israel as we speak?
Yes, sir, he did. He's spoken actually at a very brief press conference where he didn't take any questions, but he stressed that we do side with Israel and that we're going to do everything in our power to help them. Of course, as Americans, we're sitting there wondering, what can we physically do at this point when we've done so much for Ukraine? But it was interesting, and something that people are talking about, even some of the mainstream media, is the U.S. Office of Palestine Affairs. They tweeted and then deleted a message urging all sides to refrain from violence and retaliatory attacks. Now, the State Department stresses that the tweet was deleted because it was not approved. But my goodness, it makes our country look so unorganized, right? That should not have ever gone out to begin with.
Absolutely right. They should speak with one voice, particularly given the fact that America is the world's predominant economic and military superpower and Israel's main strategic ally. Now, a new poll says that Donald Trump would beat Joe Biden in a presidential race. Do you think that a likelihood of a Trump return to the White House is growing by the day, Kinsey?
That's a tough question, but I do feel like his entire campaign is all of this legal drama. I mean, it's become, a war cry, right? But it's the Marquette, I believe it's the Marquette Law School survey saying that people that are, undecided whether or not they're going to vote or not, say that 62% say they would if they do vote, or they're going to vote for Trump. 37, I believe, said they were going to vote for Biden. But they see Trump's strengths in, the economy, in foreign affairs, in immigration. But I think that the reason they're undecided at this point in time is because of his legal woes. They're kind of trying to sit back and see what happens, what comes to fruition. They're not necessarily confident that all of this stuff is going to be done by the time we're expected to put our ballots in.
Indeed. I mean, is this an existential battle for Donald Trump? Is his only hope of staying out of jail becoming president? Wow, Mark, you're getting me good today with these questions. I would hope not. I mean, I really would hope not. But I do think that every time a blue state hits Trump with something nefarious, it causes his supporters to rise. And, I know people that every time something happens, they're donating to his campaign. And people are really passionate about this man. And I do believe that he's I think it's the idea of him being a maverick. I think it's the idea of him really challenging the system that impresses people. And when the system keeps trying to shut him down, it just elevates him even more. Indeed so. Can we talk about Prince Andrew, who's rather comfortable in his Royal Lodge accommodation? What's happening there? It seems like the Cold War between Prince Andrew and King Charles is brewing. Mark, this has been a story we've been talking about for months, maybe even a year at this point in time. It was reported that King Charles wanted to evict Prince Andrew, wanted him to head over to Frogmore Cottage and enjoy that space. So perhaps inevitably the Waleses could move into Royal Lodge. According to The Sun, Prince Andrew met with King Charles at Balmoral and stressed, kind of put himself out there and said, this is why I don't want to leave. The Sun says that Prince Andrew has invested over £200,000 in renovations to Royal Lodge at this point in time. And that was enough to convince King Charles to let him spend some more time there. So apparently he is safe. He can put the moving boxes away. He's no longer the squatting spare. He's comfortable where he is, and he's going to stay there. There you go. He is not moving for love nor money. What about his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson? She's made headlines this week. Yeah, don't forget it's his roommate. His roommate and ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson. She is looking for a talk show here in the States. And all I would say is, haven't we suffered enough? okay?
Yeah.
But she has been taking meetings because she would like to have a sit-down talk show in the States, a la Oprah, a la Drew Barrymore, who's become really successful over here. You know, Mark, I think people would actually watch this. That, you know, Fergie is very engaging. She's got a great sense of humor, and she has a lot of really good contacts.
For sure, I've always been a big fan. I think she's a real character, and bless her for putting up with Prince Andrew and continuing to cohabit with him. I mean, it was a great love affair, but it just didn't quite work out for the couple. Is there any hope that they could ever reconcile or remarry?
Yeah, I would hope so. Would that not be the ultimate dream? I would think that that would be very romantic. That's a Lifetime movie that I would watch on repeat, Mark. You know, it's the idea. Are they friends with benefits? This question lives rent-free in my head 365 days a year. I'm curious.
If they were to remarry, might that rehabilitate the image of Prince Andrew?
I think so. Don't you? Don't you think that would shake things up? I do too. You know, I think that we would get all lost in that storyline again. And, you know, I saw the poll results on Twitter. I understand a lot of people do want Prince Andrew to move out of Royal Lodge. But at the end of the day, yeah, I feel like the Queen would be happy with where he's at right now. And I feel like she left him there on purpose. So I'm kind of okay with him staying there.
Too right. Can we talk about the Sussexes now? Harry and Meghan return to New York City following their near-catastrophic collision.
Isn't this interesting? And after Prince William had such a successful visit here, Americans went crazy for Prince William. But this is the first time the Sussexes are back in NYC after that car chase, after Meghan accepted her award for her podcast that no longer exists. And they're doing an Archwell in-person event on Tuesday where they're going to be discussing, you know, people's digital footprint, children's digital footprints, and how parents can protect their kids online.
Oh, my goodness gracious me. Well, as always, they've made headlines. I mean, do we feel, because you look at the Sussexes on a sort of day-by-day basis now, don't you? How's the brand looking overall following the Invictus Games, for example?
Yeah, no, it's not necessary. I feel like Meghan hobnobbing with all of these celebrities made a bigger impact than Prince William's Prince Harry's Invictus Games. I feel like people were more glued to Meghan at the Beyonce concert, more glued to this idea of her trying to she went to the Beyonce concert twice. I don't think that people are impressed by them. They feel, you know, at this point in time, I still feel like there is an element of shallowness that surrounds that brand, and they really need to shake that off.
Brilliant stuff. We never want to shake you off, Kinsey. We'll see you in a week's time. My thanks to the Queen of US showbiz, royal and political reporting, Kinsey Schofield. Do check out her brilliant podcast, To Die For Daily, which is all about royal stories, and indeed her website of the same name.